Institut Teknologi Bandung or ITB is one of Indonesia's leading universities in engineering, science, and technology. With its vision to become a green campus, ITB has integrated sustainability into education, research, and campus operations. ITB's financial strength supports this vision. In 2023, ITB earned more than 2 trillion rupiahs in total income. Only 25% came from the state budget, while the rest was from research, partnerships, investment, and innovation subsidiaries, like PT LAPI ITB and PT Reka Cipta Inovasi ITB. This shows that ITB not only teaches sustainability, but it has the capacity to fund and apply sustainable solutions on campus. The Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) are 17 global goals created by the United Nations to address the world's most urgent challenges by 2030. They include targets such as clean water, good health, climate action, gender equality, and sustainable cities. These goals serve as a framework not only for governments, but also for schools, universities, and even individuals. For ITB, aligning with the SDGs means ensuring its campus operations, such as water usage, waste management, and building facilities, follow the principles of sustainability. In this project, the focus is on SDG 6, Clean Water and Sanitation, SDG 3, Good Health and Well-being, and SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. These are directly related to one of the most basic and essential needs on campus: a clean, functional, and inclusive toilet. Labtek 9C is a shared-use academic building currently occupied by two departments, Geodetic Engineering on floors 1 to 3 and Environmental Engineering on floors 5 and 6, with floor 4 shared by both programs. This project focuses especially on the Environmental Engineering program, whose mission and curriculum are deeply rooted in the principles of sustainability, environmental health, and inclusive infrastructure. Given that the condition of sanitation facilities in the Environmental Engineering section of Labtek 9C should reflect the values we teach and promote. However, based on direct field observations, the reality is quite different. Some of the most common and visible problems include wet floors and poor cleanliness, which increase the risk of slips and hygiene-related illness, leaking taps, broken flushes, and missing air fresheners, narrow stalls, and hard-to-open doors, making them inaccessible to people with disabilities, empty soap and tissue holders, especially in older toilet units. These issues may seem minor at a glance, but collectively, they pose serious risks to health, daily comfort, and inclusivity. More importantly, they do not align with the core values of environmental engineering, which include sustainable water use, sanitation equity, and human-centered design. To better understand the sanitation issues in Labtek 9C, I distributed an online questionnaire using Google Forms. The target respondents were students from the Environmental Engineering program who actively used the facilities in the building. In total, 58 students responded to the survey, the majority of them from the 2023 cohort. These students represent the main users of floors 5 and 6 of Labtek 9C, and their response provided important insight into the real day-to-day experiences of the building's occupants. When asked about how often they use the toilets in Labtek 9C, more than half of the students said they use the facilities several times a week, and nearly 30% stated that they use them daily. This shows that toilet sanitation directly affects their daily routines and comfort. Despite this frequent use, most students were not fully satisfied with the current conditions. More than 56% rated the overall cleanliness as average, and 25% considered it poor or very poor. Only a small portion described the toilets as clean. Several common complaints appeared repeatedly in the responses. These include wet or slippery floors, dirty toilet bowls, bad odors, and missing basic hygiene supplies. The absence of soap and tissue was especially alarming. Nearly 90% of respondents said tissue is often unavailable, and over 84% said the same about hand soap. Without these basic supplies, users are unable to maintain proper hygiene after using the toilet, which increases the risk of illness. broken or malfunctioning fixtures were also reported. Over 44% of students said they sometimes encounter broken flushes, leaking taps, or damaged door locks. Another third said they experienced these problems rarely but repeatedly, showing that even if issues aren't constant, they are persistent enough to disrupt the user experience. When asked whether the toilets in Labtek 9C are accessible for people with disabilities, the results were even more concerning. Almost 59% of students said that the toilets are not accessible, and nearly 40% were unsure. This reveals a clear gap in inclusive design and shows that accessibility is not currently prioritized in the building's sanitation infrastructure. Overall satisfaction with the toilet facilities was low. Most students selected neutral on the satisfaction scale, but 29.3% were clearly dissatisfied, and only 24.1% expressed satisfaction. Not a single respondent selected very satisfied, which suggests that no user considers the toilets to be in excellent condition. In the open-ended comment section, many students offered suggestions. These included the installation of hand dryers, improvements to lighting and air ventilation, better waste bin placement, especially inside toilet stalls, and clearer reporting systems to notify staff when problems occur. Some also requested educational posters to promote hygiene behavior and respectful toilet use. From these responses, it's clear that the sanitation conditions in Labtek 9C are not only suboptimal, but also deeply affect the comfort, safety, and dignity of students. These are not just complaints, they represent real challenges that interfere with learning and health. The data clearly shows that improvements are not just recommended, they are necessary. To understand the sanitation challenges from an operational point of view, I conducted a chat-based interview with Pa Usman Soleh, the janitor responsible for floors 5 and 6 of Labtek 9C, where the Environmental Engineering Department is located. I first met Pa Usman in person at campus and later followed up via chat due to scheduling limitations and practicality. He was open, helpful, and shared many details that provided valuable context to the study. According to Pa Usman, he is the only janitor assigned to the environmental engineering floors. Meanwhile, floors 1 to 3 used by the geodesy department have 2 janitors, and floor 4 is shared maintained by both teams. He explained that cleaning is done once daily, typically in the morning, and he tries to check every 2 hours, especially during class or lab schedules. On event days, however, the routine becomes more demanding. Pa Usman mentioned that running out of tissue and hand soap is the most common complaint from students. Supplies are sometimes delayed or limited, and he has no direct control over inventory. He does his best to refill when possible, but stock depends on the departmental delivery. When it comes to maintenance, minor issues like clogged toilet or flush problems are fixed by him directly. However, for more serious problems such as leaking taps or broken lights, he needs to report them to the department or coordinate with maintenance staff like Pa Asep, which can result in delays. One major concern he raised was accessibility. None of the toilet units in Labtek 9C are equipped with features to assist users with disabilities. There are no handrails, and some stalls are too narrow, making access and comfort a concern even for able-bodied users. Despite the challenges, Pa Usman shows strong commitment. He regularly arrives early, adjusts to building schedules, and is open to direct feedback from students. Still, he emphasized that a one-person janitorial team is not enough to consistently maintain 2 full floors, especially when supply or technical support is limited. He also expressed hope that the department could provide better cleaning tools and materials in the future. Finally, he left a message for students. Please use the toilets responsibly and communicate with him if any supplies run out. He is more than happy to help, but good sanitation is a shared responsibility.